I wonder your reaction, considering your experience running the transportation department, to see this mile-and-a-half-long span gone.
Devastating for the region, devastating for the supply chain, devastating for people who have to traverse 37,000 cars a day across that bridge that no longer exists. This is a huge, huge calamity of gigantic proportions for the region, for Baltimore, for the Washington region, for the kind of opportunities that that port has provided to deliver goods all over the world and back into the United States also. But the level of cooperation and coordination and elected officials and appointed officials working together today has been extraordinary. Gold stars to everybody. Everybody's all hands on deck. That's what it will take to rebuild the bridge, to open the channel, to get the supply chain moving again, and also to figure out what happened.
Well, sir, as you talk about all the different authorities that are cooperating on this, pretty much all of them are reluctant to put any kind of timeline on the duration that this may be disrupted. The idea that this port may be closed for some time. Certainly it will take a long time to reconstruct this bridge. They are focused less so on timeline right now, as this is an ongoing search and rescue effort. But what do you anticipate, with your experience and any precedent you've seen, that timeline could look like? How long are we talking? Weeks or months or even years?
Well, if you look at what happened in Minneapolis when that bridge collapsed, completely different circumstances for the collapse. It was rebuilt in a very short period of time. If you look at what happened in Pennsylvania when the bridge collapsed there, again, different circumstances, but the rebuilding took place very quickly because of the commitment of the federal government, DOT, and the state's DOTs. Now, look, at the first and top priority is to continue to search for those who have been lost, those that were on the bridge. And once that is complete, then you'll see a comprehensive plan for reopening the port, reopening the channel, and replacing the bridge. And I think it'll be a timetable with all of these people working together that can be sooner rather than later.
Well, sir, I spoke with both senators from Maryland earlier today who were talking about the humans that we have to consider here, not just those who are still unaccounted for and their families, but also those who have jobs at this port, knowing this is a major economic engine for the state of Maryland. And while we are seeing that cargo operators and companies who have cargo that would through this port are starting to divert, both suggested to me they want to make sure that cargo does come back to the port of Baltimore. Would you have any concern that just the flow of transport may be permanently changed by this rather than just temporarily displaced?
Not at all. I think the port is such a significant port, its location, the way that it's managed, the way that they're able to deliver goods in and out of that port. As soon as the channel can be reopened, the port will be reopened. That will mean having to remove the bridge that's collapsed. That's going to take a little time. But as the governor said and the mayor has said, top priority is finding the people that have been lost from the fact that they were on the bridge and trying to locate them. Once that's done, I think you'll see very, very quick activity in getting the port open.
Secretary LaHood, you don't need me to tell you there are thousands of bridges, tens of thousands of bridges around this country that are structurally deficient. That's why we went through the process of getting this bipartisan infrastructure law that the president's been talking about a lot lately. But Wes Moore today, the governor, said that this bridge was up to code. So it strikes me this is not an infrastructure story we're talking about. I guess my question is, should bridges be able to withstand an impact from a cargo ship like this? Was this really something that was the fault of the shipping company or the structure of the bridge?
The bridge was built in 1977, long before Baltimore became the significant port that it is today. It is a significant port in our country and in the world, and That bridge was built well before that. I do believe that if you look at structures that are built today, and I have, that the new bridges are built to a much, much higher standard. And that's the way the new bridge will be built along this corridor also.
Sir, you, of course, in addition to being Secretary of Transportation, served as a member of Congress. And knowing that President Biden has said that the federal government will be footing the bill for the reconstruction of this bridge, that is something that would require congressional approval. And we haven't seen Congress be the most functional in the funding department as of late. Would you have any concern about that funding being approved?
Not one bit. This is like a hurricane that hits an area. It's like a tornado that hits an area. What happens is Congress steps up, appropriates the money, and takes care of the people and takes care of the region that's impacted by some kind of a weather calamity, whether it's a fire, whether it's a hurricane or tornado. I have no doubt that Congress will step up under the leadership of the Maryland delegation, under the leadership of the White House, and provide the funding that's needed to rebuild the bridge.